The salvage yard has just had some changes made to it, so let's update the salvage yard guide and get you up to speed. In this video, I'll break down every single thing you need to know about the salvage yard. Should you buy one, where to buy one, how it works, and maybe most importantly, how much money you can actually make with it. Let's go. First things first, location. Once you head into Maze Bank foreclosures, you'll notice that there's 5 different salvage yards you can buy. 1 in Paleto Bay, 1 in Sandy Shores, and 3 in Los Santos. Most of the missions take place in the city, so you're only going to want to buy one of these 3. So we have Marietta Heights, Strawberry, and La Puerta. Now this is the most expensive one at just under $2.7 million, and this one, even though it's the most expensive, you would think it's the best, not in my experience. The main reason for that, a lot of the time your vehicle will just spawn on the complete other side of this massive wall, and honestly, it's not worth the hassle. So for that reason, I would recommend getting Strawberry or Marietta Heights. Across all of my accounts, I have a salvage yard at all 3 locations. My personal favorite is Marietta Heights. Let's talk about the upgrades. Okay, so first is tint. This is completely cosmetic. It's just going to change the color of the inside of your salvage yard. The next one is get trade rate. If you buy this for $450,000, you'll get a discount when you call Moore's Mutual to claim a vehicle that's been destroyed, and a discount when you repair a vehicle at LS Customs. I tested this out. It's a 50% discount. So for example, if your Oppressor Mark II gets destroyed, you'll only have to pay $5,000 instead of $10,000, which means to make your money back on this, your Oppressor Mark II would have to get destroyed 90 times. Definitely not necessary, but if you're really rich, sure, maybe buy it. Next is the tow truck. This is something that you're definitely gonna want to buy. As I'll explain later, the tow truck is a massive part of this business. Now, you can either buy the tow truck for $1.1 million or the tow truck beater for $650,000. They're basically the exact same. Of course, the main difference is one of them is very rusty. Their speed is the exact same when you're not towing a vehicle, but when you are towing a vehicle, the non-beater version, just the normal tow truck, is very slightly faster. It's not that noticeable, and if you don't have the money, it's definitely not worth paying the extra money just for this. If you do have the money though, yeah, sure. Next is the wall safe. This costs $750,000, and I've seen a lot of misinformation about this one. This is not something you need to buy. Even if you don't buy this, you will still have a safe in your salvage yard, okay? A lot of people get that confused. If you don't buy this upgrade, the max capacity of your safe will be $100,000. If you buy the safe upgrade, the capacity just increases to $250,000. But the amount of money you can make with the safe stays the same, so it's not necessary at all. But anyway, we'll talk about that a bit later. And finally is the staff upgrade. This costs $625,000, and for making money, I would definitely recommend this one as well. Again, we'll talk about this one later, but it will double the speed that your staff can salvage vehicles. Okay, let's talk about what to do and how to make money. So there's 3 ways you can make money with this business. The first is through vehicle robberies. That's probably going to be the main way you make money. The second one is through the tow truck missions and salvaging the vehicles that you bring back with the tow truck. And the third way is through the safe in your office. So let's start off with the vehicle robberies. Vehicle robberies are basically a heist. Technically, they're not called heists, but they're pretty much a vehicle heist. So to start these up, head over to the computer in your salvage yard, and you'll see that there's 3 different vehicles that you can steal. You'll of course have one that doesn't pay as much, one that pays in the middle, and then one that will pay you a lot. The payouts from these ones range from about $250,000 all the way up to $400,000, and these will rotate each week. So in some weeks, we may get some vehicles that are worth the low 200,000s. We may get some that are worth well over 400,000. It's just going to change week to week. Now, I'll get to explaining the actual robberies in a second, but what you need to know is these can only be done once per week. You can only do 3 a week. So that's right, it's not going to reset straight away. You can't just do it again after you finish it. You can only do each of these once per week. And yes, that is a real life week. They're going to reset every Thursday when the GTA Online weekly update comes out. Okay, let's get into the actual robbery. Setting up a robbery will cost you $20,000, and the first thing you'll have to do is a scope out mission, just like you would with a heist. This won't be difficult at all. All you have to do is just go to a certain location, take some photos, send them to Jamal Amir, and you're done. Next, you'll have to do some planning work as well as some tasks. Normally, you'll have 2 mandatory tasks and then 1 optional task. The mandatory ones are very straightforward. straightforward. They're just things that you need for the heist. I'm not going to hold your hand and walk you through these setups. They're pretty straightforward, and I'm sure you're a pretty good player, so go ahead and do that planning work. And then you have one optional planning work. This is something that will just make the finale a bit easier. It'll normally be something like with the gangbanger robbery, for example. There will be less police in the police station. For the Duggan robbery, it means the guards will have less armor, that sort of thing. Something that's not compulsory, but might make it a bit easier. Honestly, really not worth it for an experienced player at all. The finales are not difficult, so you should be fine. And then we have tasks. Normally you'll have 2 or 3 of these, plus an optional one, which will be getting masks. This will just drop 1 star off your wanted level in the finale. Again, really not necessary. And for the tasks, you actually have to do these in free mode. So you'll fly around or drive around the map and you'll see these green duffel bags on your map. So just head over there and start up the tasks. Again, they're very, very simple. This will be very straightforward. Once that's done, you're on to the finale, the actual robbery. These are pretty cool missions, but again, honestly, you don't need me to walk you through this. You know how to complete missions at this point. The only thing I would say though is you actually can use personal vehicles in the finales. So for example, if you need to get away from the cops, remember you can call in something like a Sparrow helicopter, and that'll make your getaway a lot easier. I didn't realize this the first time through, so just letting you know. Also, in the finale, there'll be 3 challenges that are optional. Completing each of these challenges will get you $10,000, and if you complete all 3, you'll get an extra $20,000. So you could make up to $50,000 extra, which does definitely add up. There are 5 different robberies. 3 of them are available each week, and I'll flash up all of the optional challenges in the finale on your screen now so that you know what to aim for. Okay, so you've got the car, you've stolen it, and it's back in your salvage yard. For most players, once you've done these a few times, I would assume you can probably get these done in about 30 to 40 minutes. So we're on track to actually make some pretty decent money here. Now you've got some options. The first option is you can actually claim this vehicle, but this is only available for some vehicles. Rockstar is going to decide each week which vehicle we can actually claim after we steal it, so you can add it to your own garage and keep it. You'll know that you can claim a vehicle after the robbery when it's got this little red and white garage symbol on the bottom left. So how do we actually claim it? Well, of course, complete the actual robbery, deliver it back to your salvage yard, then walk up to it and you'll have an option to claim it. Now this is normally going to cost you $20,000, which is extremely cheap, but if you have a document forgery office, the staff over at your document forgery office are going to make this a bit cheaper for you, so they're going to cut that price in half down to $10,000. Now, this is pretty insane because the Comet S2 Cabrio, which is this car here, is normally $1.8 million, and getting it for $10,000 is, well, quite literally a steal. Now, another thing you're definitely gonna want to know is that these vehicles that you steal in your auto shop robberies have custom license plates on them. So this Comet S2 Cabrio has a Los Venturas number plate. If you want to keep this number plate, do not change it off the Los Venturas one. If you change it to something else, you won't be able to change it back. You can change the name of it, like you can see me do here, but just don't change the actual number plate style. Now, if you don't want to buy the vehicle, or if you just can't, because most vehicles you just can't keep, now you have 2 options. You can either sell the car to Yusuf Amir, or you can salvage it in your own salvage yard. Trust me when I say you should never, ever salvage it. Always sell it to Yusuf Amir. This is for multiple reasons. The first one is if you salvage it yourself, you're only going to get 80% of the value. And the other reason is by salvaging it, you're actually using one of your own salvage bays, so you can't salvage another vehicle. Anyway, we'll talk about how the salvage bays work in just a second, but for now, all you need to know is always just sell it for the maximum profit to Yusuf Amir. And again, this is very straightforward. All you'll have to do is drive the vehicle down to the docks. For anyone who has a cargo bob, yes, you can use a cargo bob to fly it down there if you're nervous about damaging it, and then you get paid. So you probably made $250,000 to $400,000, depending on the vehicle that you stole, in about 45 minutes-ish. It'll probably take you a bit longer your first few times through, but as you get better, in about 40 to 45 minutes. So not incredible money, but also not horrible. Now, when you do sell to Yusuf Amir, you've probably got a couple questions. The first one might be, will I get a high demand bonus if I sell this in a public session? The answer to that is no. There's no benefit to selling these in a public lobby, so you may as well do it in in an invite-only session, and you can actually sell multiple vehicles at once, so if you have a friend that's helping you out, you can complete 2 of these sell missions at once. Next, let's talk about the tow truck and salvaging vehicles. If you buy the tow truck, of course, there will be a tow truck in your salvage yard. If you hop in the driver's seat, you can go out and start tow truck missions. This is exactly what it sounds like. You're gonna go out, steal a vehicle with your tow truck, tow it back to your salvage yard. Pretty straightforward. What's not so straightforward though is getting paid for it. So you're not actually gonna get paid instantly. Instead, your staff in your salvage yard will have to, well, salvage the vehicle for parts, take it apart, and then you'll get paid. How long this takes though depends on whether you have the staff upgrade or not. If you don't have the staff upgrade, this is going to take 2 in-game days, or 96 minutes. If you do have the staff upgrade, it's only going to take 1 in-game day, or 48 minutes. So obviously very, very useful. And this will pay you between $30,000 and $40,000. Now, as you're seeing on your screen now, I'm obviously earning more than $40,000. That's because occasionally Rockstar will give us weekly bonuses on this, but this is a pretty rare occurrence. Your staff can take apart 2 vehicles at once as well. So $30,000 or $40,000 for about a 3-minute tow truck mission really isn't that bad at all. But that's not all, because we have to talk about the safe, and the safe is actually linked to the tow truck. If you have a nightclub, think about the safe the same way you would think about the nightclub popularity bar. The more tow truck missions you do, the more money you're going to get each time the safe fills up. So your safe will fill up every in-game day. So every 48 minutes, the safe will tick up and add more money. If you've done no tow truck missions, you're only going to get a couple $100 in your safe every 48 minutes. And on your screen now is the profit breakdown. I'll explain it. It's a bit confusing. Now, for every tow truck mission that you complete, that will increase your safe level by 25. Of course, that means if you do 4 of them, that'll put it at 100 and you'll be earning max profit. But also keep in mind that every in-game day, or 48 minutes, the safe level will go down by 5. So if you don't do a tow truck mission for more than 2 in-game days, that would drop your safe level down from 100 down to 90, which of course means you wouldn't be making max profit every in-game day. And of course, remember, the safe income is completely separate from the salvage income, so this is additional money that you'll be making from the safe. This doesn't affect or take away how much money you're going to make from the actual salvages themselves. Just another little tip I'll give you, whether it's any of the setup missions or even the tow truck missions, in most of these missions, when you get the cops on you, you won't actually be able to call Lester or anything like that, but if you want to get the cops off you quickly, just blow yourself up and the cops should be gone. And finally, the last thing I should mention about this business, because I know a lot of us actually do care about this, snacks are available in the office, so don't forget to refill your snacks anytime you're here. And there you have it. That's the auto shop. Honestly, this is actually one of my favorite businesses in the game. I think the robberies are really fun. I know only being able to do them once a week sucks, I agree. But as for the actual content itself and what you can do with the business, I like it. So we'll wrap the video up there. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more stuff like this, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Boys.
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade. Had my first kid, I was only 17. Always a provider for my pack like Wolverines. But you won't find me on the mountaintop. Need no calculator, I could